Hello and what's good, everybody? This is Vex here, bringing you my first impression of Dragonball Xenoverse 2 after around 15 hours of play. So far, my impression is quite positive, but there are certainly some negatives as well, mostly around the port, and we'll talk about them right now. So as we go into the controls, you can see you can fully rebind keyboard and even controller controls, which is pretty sweet. The problem is, for some reason, controller controls don't last online. Like when you try to play it online, it resets to default, which is kind of irritating. And another irritating thing is this music, the music and sound sliders. Like, well, at least let's say the lack thereof. They should be sliders instead of these annoying bars, as I find the lowest one to still be a little too loud. End up having to change the sound in my actual computer, and that should never be a thing you have to do. But I also wish that you could get rid of the character name above your head, but that's a small nitpick. For the most part, the sound options are pretty good. And when it comes to the brightness, I recommend just turning that all the way up because it makes a huge difference in the vibrant colors, because that's not really like brightness dimps, that's actually saturation. Should probably label that correctly. And when it comes to the display, it could use a little bit more, but it's not to complain about. This game isn't really that technically demanding, but I do kind of wish there were more options, like more kinds of anti-aliasing and what have you, but it's good enough, I guess. So we're coming into the game right now, and yeah, within 15 hours, I've managed to get my character to level 51, and even more interesting is that I've hardly done any of the story. In fact, I've only done enough to the story to unlock the lobby. I'd say that's pretty good, and because it shows that there's a lot to do in the game, and even though some things become a bit mundane, I'd say for the most part the pacing is really good in this game, to the point where you can, as you can see, level up really fast. And this is Canton City. Like, looks pretty good. It's a huge improvement over the first city, if you ask me. And having modes of travel, and I haven't unlocked flight naturally because I've hardly played the game, but having modes of travel is pretty good. And I'm a loot horse, so I'm going to pick that up. But having modes of travel is pretty good. And let me show you the biggest improvement in the game. Training mode. Yeah, this game, unlike the first game, actually teaches you how to play it, which it turns out is actually quite important. One of the problems I had when playing the first game is that after playing for a while, it was really hard to find good competition because no one knew how to play the game. There were mechanics in the game that no one knew how to use because the game just doesn't teach you. But this game actually teaches you how to play, and I'll show you more on that in a second. But the training mode is actually a legit training mode where you can practice against the computer. It shows combo damage, it shows like exactly the max combo damage, it shows what moves you're doing, like what inputs you're putting in, everything, which is really, really nice. And I have no real complaints about the training mode. Like, it's about as legit as it comes. It has training settings that you would expect, auto recovery, the like unlimited. It has CPU status to which you can change the CPU to almost anything you can imagine for you to practice against. Like, it's really, really good, and I have absolutely no complaints about the training mode. And it's gonna be nice to see how better the competition gets because of it. And I really just have no complaints about this whatsoever. It's great. The combat system is actually much improved as well. I'm going to practice a few things right here before coming out of the training mode to show you something else. But the combat system is really good. Most characters' combos have been expanded upon, and there's some really cool things. Like, for example, that's the stamina break, where basically your opponent is basically helpless for about 5 seconds. It's nice and balanced because it only lasts for a little while, and it can be blocked easily as well. So that's actually a really nice thing that I've noticed in the game, where, yeah, like, a lot of people had problems with the stamina break and thought it was a little too strong, but it can easily be blocked, so no real problem with that. And so I'm going to go back to Conton City and show you another really great thing that this game does. Because on top of having a training mode, which is already great, the game also teaches you how to play the game, how to do the advanced mechanics, which is really nice. Like you see here, it shows you how to do snap vanishing, how to do the combo attack, how to even come up with some custom combos, and how to just guard, which a lot of people had problems with in the first game. And I'm going to go into the just guard because this is really, really, really good how they fixed this to the point where another problem I had with the first game is that people could just kind of block spam and just guard if they got lucky enough, and here you really just cannot do that. You have to time your blocks. In fact, you see here, like when I'm about to go up against Vegeta, I have to do it 10 times consecutively. And the best thing about it is that they give you, for everything that they teach you, they give you a demonstration. I mean, the game is absolutely legit when it comes to showing you how to play the game. It's so much better than the first game, which basically throws you on stage and tells you to perform. But here, the game actually teaches you how to play, and on top of that, like, you actually have to have good timing. Like you see here, like my timing has to be really good in order to actually just guard, to the point where you see some of the times I'm getting hit. Like in the first game, you could have kind of gotten away with being like a little bit off with your perfect guard because of how long the actual active frames of perfect guard last. But here I have to be like precise every time, and it makes for really, really good training, and it makes you just better at the game for doing this. It's something that I really, really appreciate in this game, and I'm so glad that they added this into the game. Because, yeah, this is probably one of the greatest improvements. I mean, a lot of people have been talking about, of course, the hit detection's better. It has much better pacing to the matches and what have you. But honestly, these things are my favorite addition. Things that actually teach people how to play the game. And so there'll be more competition as a result. Like, unfortunately, I wanted to show you, an online match of, the with limitations versus without limitations, but unfortunately, I couldn't get into any. In fact, I tried for quite a while here, and I could not get into any online matches, and I don't know what's going on. Maybe that's just another glitch that's happening with the PC port, but it's something to look out for. And speaking of PC port glitches, a lot of people on launch, I mean, it seems to have been resolved right now, but I'd like to let you know about it anyway, that a lot of people on launch couldn't get access to their pre-order characters. So the it's had a rocky start, but I mean, compared to the first game, it's not even close. The first game, I mean, a lot of people couldn't even get into the game. Most people couldn't get into the game because the servers just couldn't handle it. So, I mean, and that's the thing, I haven't, like, since this game is launched, I haven't had a single problem getting into this game. So I'm starting up a parallel quest here just to show you a bit more of how the combat and stuff goes, like when you're actually fighting. I would like to have shown you against a opponent, but you have to take what you can get. So you see here, one of my other very few problems with the game. The game's, I mean, it's pretty good so far. And maybe this actually gets better later on when you're fighting harder missions, but I just feel the AI still isn't quite up to snuff. Like, it's better than the first game, but the AI just isn't quite up to snuff in my opinion. To the point where they get caught by combos that they shouldn't get caught by because they have clearly enough stamina to get out of it. And it's just a little bad that you can actually hit them with stuff that they shouldn't be able to be hit with. But I mean, it's AI in the end of the day. You just gotta take it or leave it. And here I'm showing like one of the other improvements of the game, the fact that you can have all your Super Saiyans just come into one package, so you can just gradually level up, kind of like they do in the show, which is really fun. I mean, this is a lot more of a Dragon Ball Z experience than the first game, if you ask me. The way battles go, where you don't just juggle somebody into the sky like and combo them for days anymore. Like, the way battles go now, it just feels a lot more Dragon Ball Z than the first game did. And so here I go Super Saiyan 3, and Gohan's about to have a very bad day, especially with Ki Blast coming at him from off screen. Like, but yeah, I mean the game itself, like, yeah, it's got a few technical issues coming into it, but the game itself is just great. Like, I have no complaints. I mean, except nitpicks. Like, for example, I get kind of tired of Guru's house being attacked. Like, that's gonna become a meme. Everybody knows it. But for the most part, the game itself, just great. It's really, really fun. And playing through these matches is just, it's one of those things that it's like you really do feel like you're a character in Dragon Ball Z. Which, I mean, the first one, it had a bit of it, but here it's certainly better in just about every way. I really can't think of off the top of my head. I mean, remember, this is a first impression, but I really can't think of off the top of my head how I feel that one was better, honestly. I mean, maybe like later on once I've beaten the game, I'll probably find something that I like in one that's not here, but so far I just think this game is better in pretty much every way. So yeah, and here we go, like we're going into the special conditions of this parallel quest, just for people who, you know, have never played any Dragon Ball Z game. Like, parallel quests have a special condition that if you do it, you can get the ultimate challenge in it, which in here is basically fighting Goku with infinite stamina. So I mean, I guess it's kind of a good thing for me in situations like this that the AI doesn't use its stamina to the greatest ability, because I guess I'd probably be in a lot of trouble with that lady. That's what happens when you record live. But yeah, like when it comes to the characters, like when they go into Kaioken having infinite stamina, I guess it's kind of a good thing they don't use their stamina to the best of their ability, or else it'd probably be unbeatable. But yeah, I mean, so far though, the game is it's really, really good, and it's one of those things where it's like I just really enjoy the game for what it is. So when it comes to the technical part, like repeating myself again, like, yeah, the game's got some problems. Apparently there's a patch coming November 1st which should fix a bunch of those. But by the way, it feels really good hitting Goku with his own spirit bomb. Too bad Final Flash didn't work at all. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, the technical problems, apparently there's a patch coming the November 1st that should fix a lot of the technical problems. Hopefully all of them, because one of the other ones, oh man, I almost forgot to mention that. One of the other technical problems is the Alt F4, the Alt Tab. Like when you Alt Tab, for some reason the game thinks that it's still the top tab, and anything you do can affect the game. So please fix that. Like, for the love of God, please fix that. But besides that, yeah, everything is good, and yeah, that'll conclude this first impressions. Thank you very much for watching, and be sure to practice your combos by hitting that like and subscribe button. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Hey, it's me, Goku. Be sure to like, subscribe, and have a nice day.